Hello, this is Morgan Whitacre, completing my presentation for PRM 360, Interpretation in Parks and Recreation. This is my slide tape program over the flora of Glacier National Park. Mother Nature woke one lovely morning and decided to bless us with an array of colors. She gazed over the mountains and meadows of a place dear to her heart, Glacier National Park. Now, she decided, I'll plant flowers of every color and shape to match this beautiful place. And while I'm at it, I'll pick only those that will thrive in cold nights and short seasons. Their beauty will flare in the presence of icy glaciers. My flowers will also provide food for the wildlife that roams these meadows and valleys. Her palette of many colors helped her to plant a scene of beauty to behold. Good morning and welcome to the amazing flora of Glacier National Park. Today, we will be talking about the different types of flora that are found right here in Glacier National Park. There are 5 main plants and plant types that I will focus on today. The first I will discuss is the wildflower problem in Glacier. Secondly, I'm going to discuss beargrass. Thirdly, I'll talk about the famous Glacier National Park glacier lily. Fourthly, I will discuss the fungi family. And finally, I will talk about the edible wildflowers in Glacier, such as dandelions and daisies. It is important to keep in mind that while there are over 1,000 species of plants in Glacier, only 30 of these are endemic, and 127 of the 1,000 are non-native. Some of you are probably thinking, what does he mean by endemic? Well, the 30 species that are endemic in Glacier belong exclusively to this park. They're found nowhere else in the world. Of these, all but one are found in cold, open, harsh areas of the post-glacial environment. Over the years, people have introduced non-native plants to Glacier for various reasons. Although some of these species were introduced inadvertently, others were done so deliberately to rectify barren land problems and to serve as food for certain animals. In the 1920s and 1930s, Timothy grass was introduced for horses to graze. Most of these species haven't been a problem. However, some have become a nuisance. The spotted knapweed and ox-eyed daisy have invaded the Norfolk prairies. These plants proliferate quickly and become almost impossible to eradicate from the region. They have fibrous, strong root system that is very deep. It wipes out virtually every other plant that attempts to grow in the area. Some of the native species of plants include pine grass and beargrass. These grow in the grasslands and meadows. It is interesting that we have the name beargrass because, ironically, beargrass isn't a grass, it's a flower, and bears don't particularly like it. Beargrass actually belongs to the lily family, and it can grow to about 4.5 feet tall. It has olive-colored, grass-like leaves that grow from the base of the plant and are tough and wiry. The outside leaves clasp around the stem. The leaves have toothed margins and grow about 35 inches long, getting shorter as they near the flowers, looking much like a fan. The flowers of beargrass can grow on a stalk that can be 6 feet tall, with many small flowers. Each flower is a creamy white and saucer-shaped. These flowers smell like sweet honey. An interesting fact about beargrass that you guys might like to know is that after a flower stalk grows and dies, a new one will not reappear for 5 to 10 years. One of the most sought-after native plants by tourists in Glacier National Park is the famous glacier lily. These lilies, which are found primarily in the subalpine areas, although they can be found in the lower grasslands too, have been known to emerge through spring snow and bloom. Glacier lilies grow 6 to 16 inches high, and their flower is a bell shape that bends backwards. In fact, many people say that the glacier lily looks like it nods to tourists because of the position of the flower. The glacier lily grows from a corm, which is like a bulb, that is edible. The corm from which the lily grows is said to have healing powers, and it can be eaten like an onion, only it tastes much sweeter. They are edible raw, but they are made sweeter and more easily digestible by cooking. Drying also helps this process. The corms sometimes cause a burning sensation, and too many can cause vomiting. The leaves are also edible raw or cooked, and the fresh green seed pods are said to taste like string beans when cooked. But most tribes used only the corms. Bears and rodents eat the roots, and seed pods are grazed by deer and elk. The Montana American Indian tribes used the pulverized root to treat boils, and they applied it as a wet dressing on skin sores. The Okanagan Colville tribe used the corms as a treatment for bad colds. Of all the edible plants, I think we should spend some time focusing on the fungi. Did you know that Glacier harbors more than 1,000 species of fungi? Obviously, the most visible and edible are the mushrooms. The morels are the most propagated edible mushrooms. They grow primarily in newly burned areas. These are easily identified by their brown stalks and tan-colored spongy tops. Other edible mushrooms include shaggy manes, which are smooth and white, chanterelles, and boletes. Chanterelles are broad, flat, and incongruent mushrooms, while boletes are commonly referred to, although incorrectly, as toadstools. Now, it's important that you all need to be aware of how dangerous it can be to just pick any mushroom to eat. Mushroom identification takes studying and practice. I have mentioned some edible mushrooms, but there are deadly ones if ingested. The main mushroom I wanted to discuss is the fly amanitas, which has a white stalk and a round, white-spotted red top. It can be lethal if it's ingested. These red-topped mushrooms, sometimes referred to as buttons, grow primarily in the northern part of the U.S. These plants thrive in the boreal climate, subarctic. Montana American Indians used small amounts of these mushrooms for their hallucinogenic effect. These plants were used in spiritual rituals, chiefly by the tribe medicine men. Tourists and park visitors need to be careful when choosing mushrooms to eat. The best advice that I can offer you all is that if you aren't sure, then don't eat it. Now, the last set I'm going to talk about are some of the wildflowers that include dandelions and daisies. Although these might not sound too scrumptious, they provide an excellent source of nourishment. In the spring, strawberries flood the lower meadows and some of the grasslands. There is one central location that most of the strawberries, dandelions, and daisies that I have talked about are found. And this place is Lake McDonald Valley. These are where they principally grow, and it's located on the southwest side of the park. Okay, now that I have filled your minds with all this information, you're probably asking yourself, well, what should I remember? Well, I want everyone here attending today to leave with a basic understanding of plant life in Glacier. The 5 main plants and plant types that we took a close look at were the problem wildflowers, the oxeye daisy, timothy grass, bear grass, glacial lilies, edible and inedible fungi, most notably the fly amanitas, and finally, more edible wildflowers such as dandelions, strawberries, and daisies. It is important that everyone realize the greatness of this park. Mother Nature has blessed Glacier National Park with many different kinds of plants, and each of them serves a purpose. All of the information I've provided you today can be found at the National Park Service website. Just type in www.nps.org on your browser. I thank you all for coming to the amazing flora of Glacier National Park. I hope you can leave with a greater understanding and hopefully appreciation of the edible flora in Glacier National Park. Thank you, and have a great day.